In today's video, Messi is about to do something Maradona never did, and Luis Enrique's powerful statement about Messi and the next World Cup. Before we begin, don't forget to share your opinion with us in the comments about the chances of Argentina winning the 2026 World Cup. And if you are a soccer fan, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow all the latest updates. Messi is about to do something Maradona never did. Before turning 39 in 6 months, Messi has the opportunity to make the 2026 World Cup a milestone that allows him to surpass Maradona in the greatest debate in the history of soccer. At one point, the 2022 World Cup was considered the perfect ending to Lionel Messi's career, after nearly 2 decades of being compared to Diego Maradona. He finally won the most famous trophy in the world of soccer. It was a moment that revived all of Argentina and put an end to the criticism that had followed Messi for years. Too great at club level, but incapable of taking the national team to the top of the world. Qatar was like a movie written especially for Messi. He entered the tournament as Argentina's absolute leader after winning the 2021 Copa America, and with the most cohesive team he had seen since joining the national team. In Qatar, Messi did not only shine with his skills, he showed a completely different side of his personality. The man who was normally quiet began to show more character, becoming a source of moral support for the entire team. When Argentina lifted the World Cup in Lusail, many believed it represented the final chapter in the story of a legend. If Messi had retired at that moment, it would have been a perfect ending, an ending that no one could have written better. But Messi did not choose that. The journey does not end here. 4 years after his victory in Qatar, Argentina is still preparing for the World Cup with Messi in its lineup. And this has surprised many because he will be 39 years old during the tournament. Many believe Messi is risking his soccer legacy by continuing to appear on the biggest stage in world soccer. This concern is not without foundation. World Cup history has seen many legends who stretched their soccer careers too far and left the field with regret. Sometimes their final moments evoke memories of decline instead of memories of years of brilliance. But Messi's case is different. What makes Messi's situation so unusual is that he no longer has to prove the same things he once had to prove. For years, every tournament with Argentina felt like a trial. Every defeat was treated like evidence against him. Every lost final became part of a narrative that ignored everything he had already done for the game. But after Qatar, that weight changed. Messi does not arrive at 2026 carrying the same burden. He arrives as a world champion, as a player who already gave Argentina the image it had been waiting for since 1986. That changes the pressure, but it also changes the meaning of the challenge. Now, he is not chasing redemption, he is chasing history. In the 2022 World Cup, Messi changed the structure of his game. He was no longer the player who constantly dribbled or moved all over the field. Instead, he often stayed away from the rhythm of the match, saving energy while waiting for the right moment to make a difference. With one touch, one pass, or one shot, Messi was still capable of changing the course of a match. In fact, this role becomes more suitable for him with age. Once everyone realizes that Messi no longer needs to run like before, a slight decline in his physical condition will not be a major problem. What Argentina needs from him is not 50-meter sprints, but the ability to decide matches in decisive moments. And most importantly, Messi still has an enormous influence on the national team. He contributed to Argentina's recent Copa America victory, and he remains a crucial element in their pursuit of winning the 2026 World Cup. That influence is not only technical, it is emotional, psychological, and symbolic. When Messi is on the field, Argentina plays with a different kind of confidence. His teammates know that one moment can change everything. Opponents know it too. Even when he is not touching the ball, his presence affects defensive lines, tactical decisions, and the rhythm of the match. Defenders stay alert, midfielders hesitate, coaches build entire plans around limiting him, and that alone creates space for the rest of Argentina's players. That is why Messi's value cannot be measured only by distance covered or physical intensity. His value lives in the fear he creates, the calm he gives his teammates, and the decisions he forces from the opponent. An opportunity to surpass Maradona. For many years, the World Cup was the main reason why Messi was ranked behind Maradona in debates. For Argentines, Argentina's victory in the 1986 World Cup is an eternal symbol. Maradona's role was not limited to leading the team to victory. He also delivered one of the greatest individual performances in the history of soccer. Messi narrowed the gap in Qatar, but the 2026 World Cup represents an even more exciting opportunity. If Argentina manages to defend its title, Messi will achieve something Maradona never achieved in his career. 2 World Cup titles. This is not just another title. It could be a turning point that completely changes a debate that has lasted for decades in Argentina. Certainly, that journey will be extremely difficult. History only records Italy's victory in 1938 and Brazil's victory in 1962 as successful World Cup title defenses, and candidates like Spain, France, England, Portugal, and Brazil all have teams strong enough to compete with Argentina. But it is precisely because of this difficulty that the final reward becomes especially distinctive. Even if he fails, Messi will still remain one of the greatest players in history. And the 2022 World Cup has already secured that. But if he succeeds, history will enter a completely different chapter. Then, the debate around Messi or Maradona could come to an end. Argentines would no longer have to choose between these 2 legends. They would have to recognize that Messi achieved something Maradona never reached. The 2026 World Cup could be the final tournament of Messi's international career. But who knows? Instead of being a farewell, it could be the place where he closes the greatest chapter of his soccer life. And maybe that is what makes this story so powerful. It is not only about numbers, trophies, or records. It is about the possibility of watching a player who already completed his destiny return for one final impossible mission. Messi no longer needs the World Cup to be remembered forever, but another World Cup could change the size of that memory. It could turn greatness into something almost unreachable. It could transform an already legendary career into a story that future generations will struggle to believe. Luis Enrique's powerful statement about Messi in the 2026 World Cup. I will begin with something I have said before, and I will keep saying it until the final day of my career. Lionel Messi closed soccer. This is not a debatable opinion. It is a fact backed by history, with all its numbers and all its moments. Anyone who says otherwise either has never watched Messi with open eyes, or there is another reason making them avoid recognizing what is clearly in front of them. I coached Lionel Messi at Barcelona. That experience is not just a line on my professional resume. It is the deepest and most real experience of my soccer life. When you are a coach and you have Messi in front of you every day in training, you realize something you cannot realize just by watching. You realize that this man thinks about soccer in a way no one else on this planet does. He has an internal memory of the field that I cannot explain with any coaching term. He sees the field the way we see the kitchen in our homes, automatically, naturally, without conscious thought. In the season when we won the treble with Barcelona, I would sit in tactical meetings. Sometimes I would stop and ask myself, are we creating tactics for Messi, or is Messi the one creating his tactics while we build around them? The honest answer is the second. Messi does not need tactics. The tactic is to put Messi on the field and leave the rest in his hands. Now he is entering a 6th World Cup, 38 years old, 21 goal contributions in World Cup history, 13 goals and 8 assists, more than any other player in history. These are not just numbers. They are proof that this man did in the World Cup what no one had done before in the entire history of the tournament since 1930. And I want to talk about a very delicate point. Many say Messi was not outstanding in certain World Cups, and that argument falls apart when you put the numbers in front of you. 21 contributions in his World Cup career. That is not one World Cup. That is 5 tournaments from 2006 to 2022. And the number does not stop. It accumulates. It grows with every edition. This is a player who built his legacy in the most difficult tournaments gradually and patiently until he reached his peak when he lifted the trophy in Qatar. And now I want to say something clearly because I am tired of the sterile debate. Comparing any player to Messi is an unfair comparison. Not unfair to Messi, unfair to the others. Because Messi plays on a completely different level, in a layer where no one else reaches. Cristiano Ronaldo is an exceptional player, and I respect him a lot. But if you ask me with total honesty, does he compare to Messi? No, he does not compare. And I say this from real experience. From the point of view of a man who saw Messi from the inside and understood how this exceptional mind works. In the history of soccer, there have been great players. Pelé, Maradona, Brazilian Ronaldo, Zidane. Each of them wrote a beautiful chapter in the history of this game. But Messi did not write a chapter. Messi wrote the entire book and closed it. He sealed soccer with a signature that no one will erase. The 2026 World Cup will probably be the final chapter of this book, and I hope it is a closing worthy of everything this man has given to the game and to the millions who loved him. Because Messi does not only play for Argentina, he plays for everyone who loves soccer anywhere in the world. I was his coach, and I saw him up close more than most people. And what I am telling you today is what I told myself in the first training session I shared with him. This man is not an ordinary person on the field. Messi is the greatest in history, and this does not need debate. Because when people talk about Messi, they often talk about goals, assists, titles, and records. But what truly separates him from everyone else is the feeling he creates. The feeling that something impossible can happen at any second. The feeling that the game is never completely under control when he is there. That is why 2026 matters so much. Not because Messi needs it, but because soccer itself might be preparing for one final gift from the player who changed everything. In closing, we'll leave you with a quote from Luis Enrique. As far as I'm concerned, it will happen again. Messi will bring joy to his country once more, and he'll have the greatest career finale in history.